Hi guys, my name is Jessica Neufeld, and today we're discussing the article Feasibility of a Brief Online Psychoeducational Intervention for Women with Sexual Interest Arousal Disorder. So this study aimed to assess the feasibility of translating cognitive behavioral therapy and mindfulness-based therapy for female sexual interest arousal disorder into an online format. Specifically, this study examined the feasibility of an introductory psychoeducational module of eSense, which is an online program based on empirically supported in-person treatments. So in 2020, as we all know, much of the world shifted to online communication and engagement for work, pleasure, and health. And researchers, as always, are busy finding new solutions to old problems. And one possible new solution that was developed in 2020 was a website called eSense, which was designed specifically to address female sexuality interest and arousal disorder. Female sexual interest arousal disorder is characterized by a lack of bodily response to sexual stimulation. So some recent updates to the DSM-5 have led experts to combine it with hypoactive sexual desire disorder under the term female sexual interest arousal disorder, or FSIAD, as we'll be referring to it here on out. So FSIAD is one of several conditions classified as sexual dysfunction, encompassing issues like pain during intercourse, difficulty achieving orgasm, and overall diminished sexual desire. So for the six qualifiers in the DSM-5 for FSIAD, a person needs to have 3 or more at a prevalence of 6 months or longer, and it needs to cause significant clinical distress for the individual. So while experiencing a sexual dysfunction, it might be difficult, lonely, and potentially embarrassing for anybody. It is actually extremely common, with nearly 20% of women in the United States experiencing FSIAD at any given moment, and about 40% of women experiencing it over the course of their lifetime in the United States. So past research has highlighted the effectiveness of CBT, or cognitive behavioral therapy, and MBT, mindfulness-based therapy, for FSIAD. Psychosocial interventions, particularly cognitive behavioral therapy, but also mindfulness-based therapy, have shown consistent effectiveness in improving sexual function and well-being in women. CBT for sexual dysfunction involves various techniques such as cognitive restructuring, desensitization, behavioral activation, communication skills and training, working with sexual fantasies and vibrators, toys, and masturbation. MBT instead focuses on guided meditations to enhance awareness of acceptance and thoughts, feelings, and sensations related to sexual activity. So these existing studies have always involved direct contact with licensed professionals, either through telehealth, in person, or in chat rooms. But these things are beginning to show limitations in terms of cost, expert accessibility, and privacy. However, in this study and several others in recent research suggests that online interventions may not require direct communication with experts, and non-expert support could be sustainable. The study focused primarily online and self-directed therapy for FSIAD, aiming to test the efficacy of online treatment with limited therapist interaction. Furthermore, leveraging multimedia and interactive activities within these online platforms can enhance engagement and impact, and some research suggests that images and videos have been found to optimize program delivery. The participants were 16 cisgender women with female sexual arousal interest disorder, and they all participated in a pilot module of eSense at a sexual health laboratory. Participants for the study were recruited from the laboratory's in-house registry of women who had consented to be contacted for future studies, as well as through online advertisements. Inclusion criteria involved cisgender and transgendered women aged 19 through 65 years who exhibited significant clinical distress and met the criteria for FSIAD, experiencing 3 or more specific symptoms over a period of 6 months or more. The participants were required to self-report that their symptoms were not attributable to asexuality, which is not a diagnosable disorder, or other factors such as severe relationship conflict, outside stressors, non-sexual mental disorders, substance or medication effects, or other medical conditions. Proficiency in English, consistent internet access, and basic competency in using online platforms were also prerequisites for participation. So the layout of eSense program was designed to optimize readability and comprehension, employing language at a high school reading level. And to enhance user engagement, the program interspersed text with pictures, diagrams, videos, and moving graphs, such as GIFs or GIFs or whatever they're called. So the focus of this study was on the first module, which provided education and an introduction to the rationale of treatment. However, the full program consists of about 8 modules offering additional cognitive behavioral content, including guidance on focus, cognitive restructuring, and behavioral experiments. Excuse me. The participants were then assigned homework assignments through the website and underwent follow-up interviews and assessments. Post-intervention interviews were conducted to gather feedback on the website's content, usability, and effectiveness. Overall, the study aimed to assess the feasibility and acceptability of the online intervention for women with sexual dysfunction. So the study employed pre-test and post-test assessments to measure the participants' baseline and post-intervention outcomes. The pre-test measures included a demographics questionnaire, the Female Sexual Distress Scale Revised, and the Female Sexual Function Index, all focusing on desire and arousal subscales, as well as satisfaction independent of a sexual partner's presence. Just a quick note that the Sexual Distress Scale Revised and the Female Sexual Function Index are both self-report surveys based off of a Likert scale of a 1 to 5, 1 being highly disagree, one being highly disagree, and 5 being highly agree. The post-test questionnaires encompass the same measures with modified instructions to rate sexual experiences over the previous week. Additional skills were included to assess participants' satisfaction with the intervention and their experience with homework assignments and their overall treatment satisfaction. After completing the first module, participants engaged in a face-to-face and telephone-based interviews. The post-intervention interview covered various aspects of the website, including content, relevancy, clarity, organization, aesthetics, etc. And a week later, during the second telephone-based interview, participants provided feedback on the clarity and difficulty of the homework, discussed any changes that they had implemented based on the study, and shared the most memorable content and provided final suggestions for website improvement. The study found that the participants were highly satisfied with the online intervention and reported increased knowledge, validation, and hopefulness. They also experienced improvements in sexual desire, arousal, and satisfaction. Qualitative feedback from the participants highlighted positive impressions of the intervention's relevancy, functionality, and organization, as well as clarity and difficulty of homework instructions and assignments. The participants reported being able to understand and benefit from the content on their own, suggesting that online treatment for FS-IAD can be helpful even without the guidance of a licensed therapist or professional. Some limitations of this study included the small sample size encompassing only 16 cisgendered individuals, the consistent need to have access to technology in the home, internet, computer, laptop, iPad, etc. All participants were and needed to be English speaking, and it just happened that all of the subjects were college educated. So these findings support the potential of online interventions to reach more women at low or no cost and provide scalable and accessible options for addressing FSIAD. While further research is still needed to explore the effectiveness of interventions with and without expert support, these self-guided programs have the potential to significantly impact the population of women suffering with FSIAD, particularly during times when traditional treatments are limited or not available, i.e. a global health crisis, monetary or travel inability or expenses. So thank you very much. That concludes the presentation for today. As my classmates, good luck with everybody else, and thank you so much.